Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us. I'm Macy Marie. First at 4, an old storage building caught fire early this morning in Corbin, destroying the trailer. The fire also damaged trucks and lawnmowers. WYMT's Hannah Reynolds talks to a neighbor whose house was also damaged in that fire.
I talked to neighbors who say they called the fire departments around 9:30 this morning and the trailer beside them was already engulfed in flames. Neighbor David Sizemore says he was watching TV this morning when his neighbor started yelling his name. That is when Sizemore saw the flames. He says he immediately got his family members out of their house and started spraying his own home with a water hose, as well as several lawnmowers. The side of Sizemore's house did burn, along with 3 trucks that were parked near the trailer that burned.
Walk outside and there's flames everywhere, you know. It was just a terrible sight, but I mean, we did the best we could, and thank the Lord the fire department showed up.
Unfortunately, we do not know what caused the fire just yet. In Corbin, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, no one was injured in the fire, but neighbors say they believe cats could have been inside the home.
It was a beautiful day here in the mountains, a little bit on the cooler side as well, but very comfortable. If you haven't gone out today, definitely recommend doing so. You'll notice as we take a look at a few of those cameras across the area, UVA-wise, you're noticing just a few clouds here and there a little bit earlier. Those have cleared out throughout the day. We've seen those mostly sunny skies. Looking over in the Mountain Parkway over in Powell County, dry conditions over there with plenty of sunshine. Satellite and radar haven't had to deal with anything over the past several hours. Finally, a nice break from the scattered showers and storms. And as we scan the skies now, you'll notice a clean sweep, but don't get used to it. We're going to see that change as we head really into the next few days. But check out those temperatures, those low to mid 70s, feeling absolutely great outside. Definitely a great evening to be outside and sitting outside, so definitely recommend getting out there. And as we head throughout the rest of the evening hours, you'll notice those cooler conditions as well. Upper 60s by the time the sun goes down, even near 60 by right around midnight. It's going to be a very colder night ahead. Might need that lighter jacket early in the morning, but checking out the headlines, you'll notice sunshine does continue as we head into your Tuesday, but showers and storms return very quickly, and a soggy pattern really sets up across much of our region. I'll have a look at that full forecast coming up in just a few short minutes. Macy.
Definitely a beautiful day out today, Paige. A Richmond man is behind bars after police say he abused a 3-month-old girl. Investigators say Sean Dyke's child had dozens of broken bones and ended up having seizures. Garrett Weimer is following the story.
According to an arrest citation, that 3-month-old girl had 27 broken bones, bleeding in her eyes, bruises all over her body, and possible internal injuries. Investigators say while they interviewed Sean Dykes here at the police department, he demonstrated on a teddy bear what he did to her. Police say it happened at Dykes' home here on Carrie Ann Court. Police say Dykes is the baby's father and the main one who takes care of her. Investigators say Dykes told them he has multiple personality disorder and had been under a lot of stress. According to his arrest citation, Dykes said he went into a rage, grabbed his daughter, and slammed her on the bed. He told police he blacked out in rage, and the next thing he remembers was the infant having a seizure, seeing cuts and bruises on her head, and his right hand hurting. Police say he told them the only explanation was that he punched her in the head and that he was sorry for abusing her and would apologize to her if he could.
Well, it's unimaginable that a father could do this to their daughter, but luckily, with a lot of prayer, I think, and some blessing, she's still alive. And right now, you know, other than some long-term effects, she may be doing okay.
Dykes is charged with first-degree assault, domestic violence, first-degree criminal abuse of a child under the age of 12, and second-degree assault, domestic violence. He's being held at the Madison County Detention Center. In Richmond, Garrett Weimer, WYMT Mountain News.
Dykes is also accused of strangling a woman back in March. The man who threw a small child from the 3rd floor at the Mall of America was sentenced today to 19 years in prison. Emmanuel Aranda pleaded guilty last month to first-degree attempted murder for throwing a 5-year-old over the balcony in the Minnesota Mall. The family of the injured boy's attorney read their victims' statements this morning. The family says what Aranda did was evil, but they know he will never harm their family again. With time for good behavior, Aranda's sentence could be reduced to 12 years. While investigators in Virginia Beach search for a motive in Friday's deadly shooting, the community comes together to grieve and remember the 12 lives taken so violently. People are wearing the color blue today to tribute to the 12 people killed. Well wishes are gathering at a growing memorial not far from the municipal building where the massacre took place. One survivor says colleague and friend Keith Cox may have saved 7 lives before he was killed. He directed the group to hide inside an office.
We ran in there and I turned and I said, come on. And he said, I'm going to go check on other people. Barricade yourself in.
Investigators are trying to determine the motive for the shooting. The suspect, Dwayne Craddock, died after a shootout with police. Hours before the shooting, the 40-year-old emailed a resignation note to a manager. He'd worked for the city for about 15 years and had a clean record. Police in Chattanooga say a 14-year-old boy is in jail for shooting 2 13-year-olds that happened over the weekend. The shooting happened around 10 p.m. Saturday night, just a few blocks from Chattanooga's biggest musical festival. Several people throughout the thought the shooting was fireworks going off. The Riverbend's annual firework display was set to light up the night shortly before. Catherine McCutcheon was outside enjoying downtown when the shots rang out.
Not like we hear gunshots all the time either, so I didn't even associate it with that. We're just here having a good time.
Police say the 2 teenage victims are being treated at a local hospital. It's unclear what condition they're in. Actor Kevin Spacey is back in court today in Massachusetts. The House of Cards star is accused of groping an 18-year-old busboy at a bar in Nantucket back in 2016. His attorney says the accuser deleted texts that would benefit Spacey's defense. Spacey's appearance came as a surprise because he was not required to attend. He pleaded not guilty to the charges in January. June 4th marks the 30th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square massacre in Beijing. And ahead of that, it's urging China to face up to historical mistakes and apologize as soon as possible. The criticism comes after Beijing calls the Taiwanese crackdown in 1989 a correct decision for a stable country. Taiwan also criticized the Communist Party for restricting people's freedom and violently suppressing human rights. President Trump says he is not backing down from his threat to put new tariffs against Mexico if the country does not do something to halt the flow of migrants heading over the U.S. border. The president says he will put a 5% tariff on all goods coming from Mexico beginning next week. Those tariffs will rise 5% each month until October, and then they will reach 25%.
What Mexico's been doing to this country for so many years, like 25 to 30 years, with drugs and human trafficking and illegals all pouring through Mexico, no good. And caravans, no good.
Experts say Americans are likely to feel the tariff impact at the grocery store first, then followed by the automotive industry. Mexican automakers account for nearly a fifth of all U.S. auto sales, which means consumers could see an additional $1,500 added to the sticker price if tariffs climb through October. And now heading over to Wall Street on this Monday afternoon, the Dow closes up more than 4 points. WWE legend Ric Flair is back on his feet after beating a brush with death caused by an irregular heartbeat. 1 week ago, the 70-year-old was fighting for his life in the hospital. He had surgery to replace a pacemaker and remove a blood clot. It's the second close call for the Nature Boy. He survived an incident with obstructed bowels 2 years ago, which forced him into a coma and nearly shut down his organs.
All I did was think about dying. Every step you take when you've been that close. And I was going out of my way to make people that I cared about understand how much I cared about them.
Flair credits his wife Wendy for saving his life. He also thanks the many fans who have sent him well wishes. Harry Potter fans can soon go 4 books deeper into the world of wizarding. Oh man, I'm excited for this. Pottermore Publishing, J.K. Rowling's website, plans to release a series of short nonfiction ebooks exploring what is called the traditional folklore and magic at the heart of the Harry Potter series. The first 2 ebooks will be published on June 27th.
President Trump is stirring controversy on his first state visit to the United Kingdom. I'm Ian Lee in London, where Queen Elizabeth is welcoming the president and first lady.
And your Tuesday forecast is looking nice, but the rest of the week, not so much. We'll break down that full forecast in just a few short minutes.